This is Countdown to Economic Collapse, November 6, 2011. I'm David John Sponheim, running for president in 2012 under America's Third Party's banner. This week, we are finding out that the Greece situation has actually been somewhat resolved. Prime Minister Papandreou has agreed with his opponent to have a dual government until they resolve their issue with the debt. And that's actually a really good sign. Hopefully they'll accept the terms of the EU offering 106 billion euros to the Greek government, and we will see a stabilization. If that doesn't happen, then we are going to see other markets cavalcade around the euro. The banks, which are heavily leveraged in France and Italy, will actually receive a tremendous hit, and it could affect our stock market in the coming weeks. But I think the Greek debt may very well be handled for the time being. However, if they don't solve their budgetary crisis in Greece, we are going to see a default on the Greek debt. And that could definitely trigger all the things I just said. Additionally, we have a situation where student loans are starting to default left and right. People can't pay their student loans, so they're facing possible default. And the banks will see a potential bubble, much like the housing bubble of 2008. The student loan bubble is looming. So that's one other thing that's going to be added to the mix. Banks themselves are up to some pretty shady things. Wells Fargo is being charged finally with an $80 million payback to the government for trying to cheat on their capital gains taxes. That just came down. And we also see the possibility of banks in general not investing in small businesses. And that's certainly been the case since 2008. So Barack Obama is ineffective at getting banks to actually loan to people at the bottom simply because the trajectory of our economy has been down. We haven't seen a lot of positive territory in the big banks and in the long-term loans. So that has created a lot of instability. Banks just don't want to loan small businesses or people individually, yet they've been making pretty radical loans and other markets around the world, which is kind of crazy. And I think Obama is a little confused in so many different areas when it comes to supporting American enterprise. You know, there's companies from Finland that are now getting an extension on that electric car that they came up with. The electric car design is, by the way, not working. They're only getting 50 miles per gallon, and in terms of comparative energy usage. And the Finnish company got $2.5 billion from the ARRA budget. Now, why didn't they just give American companies that money? Illogical to embrace so many multinational corporations when our country is in dire need. Wall Street is not in any way connecting to Main Street. And that's something that we're going to fix at America's Third Party. In 2013, we'll begin the Homestead Renewal Plan, which will turn basic shovel-ready jobs into renovated houses, and then we'll be able to improve the real estate market at the same time. Now we're going to take old houses that are condemned and broken down and foreclosed, buy them at a discount, and then the government's going to basically flip the house and provide a house to somebody who's never had a house, or perhaps someone who just lost their money in a foreclosure. All of this will help stimulate our economy in a big way. It's going to get the engine of our economy going. Jobs, the housing sector, these are prime components in our economic health. So we're also looking at, of course, solar panel designs, which will be highly efficient and very cost effective to put on top of rooftops. And that'll be the solar rooftop program that we're pushing big time. Imagine all the potential homes in America that can be retrofitted with these, and what a big plus it'll be for our country. We'll begin to become no longer energy reliant. We'll become energy self-sufficient in this country more and more by just simply creating more energy. We can export the coal overseas that we're currently using to charge up our electric grid. All of that will be a big boost for our economy. Agriculture in 2013, we're going to see an improvement. We're of course going to integrate our seawater pipeline idea into Central California and get the breadbasket of America going again. The salad bowl of California is in dire need of fresh water, and we have this great idea called the Ocean Pipeline. And it is a concept that is truly revolutionary and will be a big plus for drought-stricken farmers across the country. We're also going to help the soil situation in America with our national composting plan. All of these ideas will be on board and running in 2013. National composting takes food waste from restaurants and backs of stores and turns them into the soil, rejuvenating the soil, making it better, making it more drought resistant. So I am going to talk now briefly about what Bill Clinton is claiming is Obama's biggest disaster so far. Bill Clinton is coming out with his book, Back to Work, in which he talks about how Obama blew it when he didn't raise the debt ceiling in 2009 when he could have, before the midterm elections. It's interesting to note that Bill Clinton only thinks about raising the debt ceiling. He doesn't even think about cutting waste. You see, the mindset of the Democrats is not to cut waste. It's very old-fashioned, really. It's to throw money at things and expect them to get better. Now, the Democrats, of course, did the same thing under Bill Clinton back in the day, and a lot of the money that was spent didn't amount to anything. Bill Clinton actually spent $72 million just studying who gets medical care and who doesn't. And we found out that certain Puerto Rican families get less medical care than Caucasian families. I mean, that's the kind of spending the Democrats have been doing since Clinton. So that's an old-fashioned way of looking at our economy. We need to embrace the people on the right who want to be fiscally conservative and work with the people on the left who want to create programs that will help stimulate our economy. Now, as you know, Barack Obama believes that the government is not responsible for creating jobs. Well, obviously, that's not working out for him too well. I think the government is responsible for creating jobs, much like FDR did with the New Deal. And I think our country can start to rebound if we created all kinds of jobs, like our solar panel installation program or the Homestead Renewal Plan. Huge, huge programs that could employ millions of people. And we've got other ideas too. Other ideas that could actually revolutionize our nation and the way we look at the electric grid. Now, you talked about the smart grid with people, I'm sure. Well, we're introducing the Genius Grid, a grid that will not only be able to charge itself up using vertical windmills, but will also be able to have the ability to resist an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. Now, it is mission critical for a third-party candidate to emerge in 2013 as your president. The reason is the two parties are unable to actually cut the budget. They're so tied to their moneyed interests that they're incapable of actually slashing those connections and telling those moneyed interests, I'm sorry, but the government's not going to pay you. I'm willing to do that. And I have every reason to believe that that's the kind of honesty that we need to get our country back on track. Without that kind of honesty, we're going to see some corrupt crony from the Republican or Democratic Party to do what they've done in the past. Nothing. So I urge you to check out our website, americasthirdparty.com, and find us in chat every night. Talk to us weekdays, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we will actually be able to talk to you real time. I urge you to look positively toward the future, but be aware your assets are something that need to be protected. Buy gold and silver and certainly food supplies, because we are entering a phase where we may run short of food in America. I'm David John Sponheim, and I support this message.
Check us out at americasthirdparty.com.
ATP, you and me.